this point in time, nobody really had a good understanding of what happens when these oxygen generators start producing oxygen.
The NTSB embark on a critical experiment. They construct a replica hold at the Federal Aviation Authority's fire test facility near Atlantic City. Technicians place 28 generators in a box and cover them in bubble wrap. They pull a wire, connect it to the pin of one generator, and retreat. They have high hopes, but the generator heat produces just a small fire and a little smoke. None of the other generators activates, and the box doesn't catch a light. Greg's theory doesn't seem to be standing up.
That first test was discouraging. You tend to start to question, are we really going down the right road?
With the public, the airline industry, and friends and families of 110 people pressing for answers, the NTSB are facing a crisis. The mystery of what downed Valuejet 592 is proving a tough nut to crack. Early results from the fire test facility suggest that the chemical oxygen generators simply don't create enough heat to start a fire. Greg and the team have to try again. They have no alternative. They repeat the test, but this time they copy the conditions in the hold more accurately. They use more generators, baggage, and an airplane tire. This time, the fire takes hold in just a few minutes. After 10 minutes, the roof of the test hold is at 1,100 degrees Celsius. A minute later, it's climbed another 430 degrees. 30 seconds more, and the temperature is too high to be measured accurately by the lab equipment. Then, after 16 minutes, comes a noise that provides the last clue. The tire in the recreation of the hold has burst. The oxygen generators did have the capacity to start and sustain a fire.
You have 144 little blowtorches in essence, and the intensity of the heat escalated from what we found in post-accident testing to over 3,000 degrees.
Investigators now know the critical chain of events that led to the crash of Flight 592. They know why a fire started on board the plane, what fueled it, and why the pilots lost control of the aircraft, leaving everyone on board seconds from disaster. May 11th, 1996. 1 hour to disaster. A Sabertech driver pulls up at gate G2 at Miami International Airport with Valuejet cargo for Flight 592. Inside the boxes are 144 out-of-date oxygen generators, loosely packed. A ramp agent places them around a large airplane tire. The pilots are unaware that they have a dangerous load on board. 30 minutes to go. As the plane taxis to the runway, the loose packing and unsecured cargo jolts one of the generators into action. It begins to heat up. 11 minutes to disaster. The plane taxis to its takeoff position. In the hold, the surface of the metal generator gets hotter and hotter. Soon, the heat ignites the cardboard box and bubble wrap, and the blaze begins. 10 minutes to disaster. Flight 592 takes off from Miami Airport. Even though the hold is airtight, the fire is now blazing fiercely, sustained by the oxygen produced by the generators. 3.5 minutes to go. The sound heard by the crew is one of the tires in the hold bursting, just as it did in the lab test.
The battery charge is kicking in.
We're losing everything.
The battery charger can't help the stricken jet, as the fire is consuming everything in its path, including the control cables that run to the rear of the plane. Captain Kubek begins to lose control of the aircraft. Temperatures in the hold have now reached more than 1,650 degrees Celsius. In the cabin, passengers are becoming desperate as they choke on the toxic fumes.
We need oxygen. We can't get oxygen back there.
Flight attendant Jennifer Stearns rushes into the cockpit. But the pilots refuse to drop the masks, knowing that oxygen would only make the fire worse. 1 minute from disaster, the cabin floor burns and begins to give way. 7 seconds to disaster. Now no one is in control of the plane. The crew are probably unconscious, overcome by toxic fumes given off by the aircraft's interior fittings. Seconds later, Flight 592 nosedives into the Florida Everglades at 800 kilometers an hour. Nearly 3 months after the crash, relatives hold a mass funeral for 48 of the victims, whose remains are interred together. Valuejet eventually takes over another company and becomes Air Tran. Sabertech is fined $500,000 for its part in the tragedy, but goes out of business before the money is ever paid. Since 2001, fire detection and suppression systems have become mandatory.
In the United States, it takes a dramatic event to move the regulatory authorities to change. And in this case, it took the loss of 110 people